So we're here at the Moragahakanda Dam in central Sri Lanka. Ancient Sri Lankans were celebrated internationally for their unique water management and gigantic water reservoirs. Up to 25,000 tanks were actually created in Sri Lanka over the last 2,500 years. Now only about 15,000 of the reservoirs remain, and the others have gone unmanaged, so have lost their flow, to say. And what we're actually standing in front of today is not built by the ancient kings and elders of Sri Lanka. This is a project by China. Go figure. So parallel to the construction of this mega dam, Sri Lanka government promised to restore a multitude of wildlife tanks throughout Sri Lanka. These wildlife tanks are exclusively for the biodiversity to feed on. This will nourish elephants. Over 300 elephants were actually displaced with the construction of this dam right here. So what you're seeing right now is actually one of 3 parts of the dam. So without doing such, there's going to be much more human-elephant conflict. You can imagine, where have the 300 elephants or so gone from these parts? We know of one small herd that actually is still around this area, but hundreds of them displaced. So you can imagine the ones getting into the agriculture and going around because their home has been flooded entirely and the waters never recede anymore. So these grasses, they have to go further and find their food and find a new home that can sustain them. This is a tremendous problem for elephants all over Sri Lanka. The water here is actually going to feed 2 other tanks, Mineria and Caudula. And both of these tanks, if they were to be held at full tank, would never let the recessional grasses come in.
I've been invited to join in an elephant herding operation. For the next few days, we're going to witness 60 or more elephants that are being corralled and moved out of this whole region. We're talking to villagers who are being displaced by a reservoir that's going to fill in this beautiful region. The villagers have been offered replacement land. So they'll be moving out from upriver to this dam behind me and relocated downriver over the next year. The elephants are being moved out from the new land that will be cultivated by the villagers over the years to come. They're making it safe for the villagers. They'll be herding them with civil people using firecrackers and fires and so forth, and pushing them outward to then the electric fence around where the villagers will eventually resettle. It's a local story that it's one of the largest dams, reservoirs, I believe, to be built in Sri Lanka.
So the demand for water in northern Sri Lanka is actually going to sacrifice the recessional grasslands in Mineria and Caudula by keeping them at full pool through this massive trans-basin diversion. And if the dam project continues forward and rerouting the water, it's actually going to inundate this whole area, and it'll be high lake all year round, so high tank. So these elephants are highly dependent on recessional grasses. And the elephant grass actually didn't even come in this year. What we're seeing is actually last year's grass, higher fiber, higher silica, and less nitrogen and amino acids, protein for the elephants to survive on. So another problem here, because we're not seeing the recessional grasses come through, a lot of invasive species, the seeds plant actually are thriving, and a lot of these plants, these elephants cannot survive on. So these elephants are highly dependent on these recessional grasses. So this dam project, it needs to reroute and needs to really take further review and what it means to the detrimental life of these species. So we really hope that it becomes a greater conversation in the years to come, and not even the years to come, this right now. This is a pressing issue right now. We want to see these species thrive and the great gathering to continue for many years to come. So although a project of this scale, you think, would bring a tremendous amount of work and employment opportunities for the people of Sri Lanka, it has not. Actually, 90% of the workers here are actually contracted to the Chinese, leaving Sri Lankans high and dry for income. So the short-term, benefits have also been lost, as well as the long-term benefits for the environment and for the people. So another promise of this dam was that it would deliver power comparable to the Hoover Dam in the United States. But in reality, it will only deliver 1/50th of the power that Hoover Dam generates to the people of Sri Lanka. So in reality, this dam project is a huge slap in the face to ancient kings and to elders of community that have known this land, that walk this land for thousands of years and have had to learn through trial and error the water and the works of this land, the canal system, the water harvesting. So in no means is this a long-term sustainable solution. This is very short-term economic gain actually for China, not for Sri Lankans. So we have actually witnessed school children, Sri Lankan school children, coming here today, thousands in the buses, to learn these engineering feats. But in reality, are they hearing the story that is not being told? So as you can see, there's a large number of students coming here to learn about this mega dam project. And in reality, the number of students you see here is actually equal to the number of elephants that are going to be displaced from this dam project. Are they learning this as they listen to their teachers talk about the dam and the engineers of the dam? I highly doubt it. They need to be learning about long-term sustainability and solutions that will be able to nourish their generations to come, and about preserving the biodiversity in this area and all of Sri Lanka. This is an island, a team unit, a collaborative effort, and to contract these outsiders that don't know the land, they haven't lived it, they haven't been with it for thousands of years, is really detrimental to the life and culture of Sri Lankans.
Go there first. There. Yeah, keep rubbing it.
Hi, beautiful. Hi, we're trying to find you a home.
So the other one went out of sight. I don't know if he went that way, so it could have been.
So are you getting video?
Yeah.
Can I go?
Yeah.
I'm nervous to take too long for that other one.
Okay, go. Yeah. Go ahead. Go forward.